Hey everybody, this is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog coming to you guys today. Happy New Year! Look, we'll be moving into our new space in 2 or 3 weeks here, pretty shortly. And I'm super excited. I'm super busy. So anyways, you guys, this is something that's been on my mind. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it, is the California homeless spike. Now I'm in Texas, and even here in Texas, we've got a spike of homeless people, and I'm just like, hey, police officers, let's do something about this. Let's get these people wherever they need to be, which sounds heartless at first. But 9 times out of 10, we're talking about mental health issues. We're talking about drug problems. We're talking about a lot of times these people being robbed. It's a safety issue. Real quick and talk about California, and then I'm going to hop on the 6 ways to build wealth, because a lot of people keep saying, well, Erica, you can only pass wealth down to your children. So I'm going to be doing all this work all my life and never enjoy it. And that's bunk. That's a dirty mindset thought. That's just crappy thinking. So look, let's go ahead and hop over and share this article. I'll show you guys. All right, so over here, sorry for all the ads going crazy all over screen. It's talking about California's homeless, and it's talking about teachers, chefs, nurses, and other middle class workers living in their car to survive. Now let's clarify. California is real estate is some of the most expensive real estate in the whole United States. That is true. But to say these people are middle class is a bit of a stretch. Now you'll say because their income, they're in California, a lot of these people are getting paid $100,000 a year. But let's go further into this article, right? Because a lot of times you got to read between the lines. You got to study what they're trying to pick up and drop down. And I just think that's funny. So some of these people in this article are 60, 70 years old. So what does that tell me? They have not 65 and 74. They lost their condo in 2013. So then you have people who are 65, another person, So look, in the article even talks about someone lost their apartment because they were living in an apartments that were like 1,000 to 1,600. What does that mean? If you live in an apartment at 1,000, 1,600, that should only be 30% of your income. So that means you should be making anywhere from $4,000. I'd say $3,500 to $4,000 or so a month. So that person's not making $100,000. So they're, to me, not middle class. And I'll just say this very clearly: if you're not making $100,000 in America right now, I'd say 80 to 100,000, because there's some smaller places you can live in the South, Southeast, where you can make less money and still be middle class. But overall, like, these people aren't middle class. To say someone making $50,000 a year in California is middle class is a lie. I'm sorry. That's just not even accurate. That's like, I'm basing middle class completely off of income. And if you're not making 80 to 100,000, I don't care if you got a doctorate. I don't care if you're Dr. Smith and you're a professor at East Carolina University, where I went to school. If you're only making 35,000 a year, you are not middle class. You're just not. You're not in that area. And so people are loving the term middle class and completely ignoring the truth that they are broke as hell. They're just broke. So 65 and 74 live in an old RV after losing their condo. If I'm 65 and my husband's 74, we're going an hour outside of LA, and we're going to go live in the middle of boondock country town with some $500 a month rent and live off our Social Security. Let's be real. Let's keep it 100. 65 and 74, and you're homeless in an RV, leave LA. There's nothing so exciting about this place. And many people say, well, Erica, that's just heartless. How dare you? I'm a military kid, and I've lived in several different places. I've lived in many, many different places. And I can tell you, I've seen where people move an hour outside of town or 40 minutes outside of town and live amazing. Live a whole nother level of life that you're like, wow, what happened? And it's because they refuse to leave the cities. They want to be a part of the city. They want to be downtown with their friends and eat dinner with their friends and yeah. No. 65 and 74, go move and start anew. Take that RV and drive it an hour outside of LA. Go to Las Vegas. You could work. It's 4 hours away. Leave. So, if you really read this and you really dig into it, towns are like, I don't even know what to do. To just park all over the place and live in these cars and these RVs. instead of what would really happen back in the day, if you ever look at any old photos of the Depression, they'll literally say, no men want it, keep walking. You know, no work here, keep it moving. And sadly, we don't do that anymore. We will refuse to do that to any people. And look at this. This is a porta potty. 48 years old, using a porta potty. 48, y'all. I mean, listen, you're not middle class if you're using a potty and you're 48 and you're sleeping in your car. $1,000 and they can go make that somewhere else, then maybe they could be. If they're making it in the middle of Arizona, maybe, but not like this. And that's why you have all these people leaving California. And honestly, if allowed, these other people would leave, you know, because I work in the apartment industry here in Austin, Texas, before I started doing my painting company. And we'd have people from everywhere, California, Arizona, New York, Ohio, New Jersey, and they would come here because they're like, it's just ridiculous. It's over the top expensive. But if you read between the lines, a lot of these people are just refusing to leave. It is, right? They're saying, nope, here, sleeping in my car. And you have to decide, what is the limit? What's the limit here? Where do you crawl the line for yourself? Where do you say, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to sleep in my car. I'm going to move. And so there has to be a line for you. Tell yourself, I'm not going to do this. So look, we're going to hop into these 6 ways to create wealth, because I think this is very important. And you're going to start seeing what you see in California everywhere. I'm here in Texas, and not because Texans are rude or mean, but a lot of times the Texans are like, go get a job. There's signs all over Austin hiring for $10 to $12 an hour. Now, why don't people take those jobs? And we're going to have a real honest. If you were broke and you saw a sign for $10 to $12 an hour, why? I'm going to tell you why. One, it's the people you're working with. Straight up. It's the people you are working with. You're like, ugh, I don't want to work with these type of people. I want out of here. And I'm telling you, I've seen it before. They don't want to work with young people. They don't work with those type of people. I've seen it happen. So another thing, $12 an hour, and they got to be there. They might have kids after school, just different reasons. People refuse to stay there. They won't work those jobs. And you'll look at them like they're crazy, but that's their choice. That's absolutely their choice. So again, let's get on to the 6 ways to create wealth, because that's what we're here for, baby. All right. Okay. So first one, mindset. Many people are going to be like, no, Erica, no, not the mindset. Not the mindset. Yes, the mindset. Because if you feel like, I can't live anywhere else other than California. I can't live anywhere else other than this city. All my friends are here. My mom and daddy lived here. I can't leave this place. And there's a word we used to call in the South called mudbutt bound. And they made a TV show out of it. But basically, it's where someone's family's worked in some area or some city their whole life. Now their grandchildren are working there, but no one's happy. And no one leaves because they're mudbound. They're bound to the land, right? And as crazy as that sounds, people are like, oh, it's crazy, or you're talking crazy. No, seriously, people are that dedicated to living in certain areas that they will not leave. So on the flip tip of that, it's mindset. If you say, you know what, this year I'm going to go out and make $100,000 a year, nothing's going to stop me. This is my year. I'm going to get it. You'll be amazed. And actually take steps. Actually take action. Not just smoke up your butt, but actually take action. Now, number 2, these are very important. Blame, justifying, and complaining. On this channel, even in the comments, even on the phone calls, did 800 phone calls about now at this point, people are blaming their kids. They're blaming their spouse. They're blaming their friends. They're blaming their mom. They're 45 years old, still blaming their damn mom. My mom did, no, honey, no, stop. Can your kids impact your situation? Can your husband impact your situation? Can these things impact you? Yes. Can they impact your decision making? Yes. But at the end of the day, you take ultimate responsibility for your situation and where you are. So if someone's blaming, I already know they're not ready. I already know they're in a poor mindset. because they're looking for someone to blame other than themselves. Because if you really sat up and said, you know what, I got myself in this situation, I have to get myself out, and that might take 2-3 years, that's depressing. That might cause a few people to like shoot themselves. I hate to say it that drastically, but like some people have did their lives to a point where they're like, oh my God, it's a bad deal, right? So number 2, justifying. You'll talk to people and they go, you know what, Erica, number one, okay, the video I had where I talked about making $4,000 in a month driving for Uber Eats and all these delivery apps. And the first thing out of people's mouths were, Erica, people don't want to drive all the time. They want to spend time with their families. So what you're telling me is you're putting your family on the cups of homelessness and your kids not to have what they need for school and for life because you want to sit at home with them. And let's keep it 100. The average American over the whole United States spend 20 minutes uninterrupted time with their children. That means one-on-one, talking to them, seeing what their day was, all that good stuff. 20 minutes on average, no matter the state, no matter the city, like that was the average. The only people who had great, like 4 and 5 hours were stay-at-home moms. So let's keep it 100. It's not for the kids. It's so you can sit on the couch and veg out and Netflix and chill and live your life. And, you know, keep it 100, right? So justifying. They say, well, I want to be comfortable, or I just want to make enough just to be there. Complaining. I've actually been at job sites where a guy was recommended to be a manager, but he complained so much that other men were like, ugh, that's too much. I don't want him leaving me, okay? Same thing goes. They do surveys and studies that show when women complain on a job site, instead of it being taken as like a complaint of the office or something going on in the office, they view her negatively. They view her as a problem. Person bringing an issue, but a problem. So that's super crazy right there. Number 3, playing to win and playing to not lose. Please in the comments let me know if you've thought about playing to win or playing not to lose. What I mean when I say playing to win is someone who's like, man, I'm going to go grab that rental property this year. I'm going to go start that business. Playing not to lose is when you say, man, I just need $3,000 this month and all my bills are straight. And once they hit that number, they let off the gas. I've seen it 100 times where people go hard for a month, hard for 30 days. Oh, I just got to lose this weight till this wedding. Oh, I just got to lose weight for spring break. And they go hard. And then they let off the gas. I've seen it countless times. Playing the wins mean you do a little bit every day. Playing not to lose is like, I can't do it. So look, number 4, modeling. Now, you know, right now on Facebook, everybody's got the new year, new me. Getting rid of y'all. No more of these people. I'm out of here, right? You know how that goes, right? Like when people are like, yeah, new person, new people, new year, cutting all the old people out. And you're like, yo, stop that. Stop saying that, because it's not true. You know, and I know that 2 months from now, you're going to be doing the same exact thing you was doing before. So let's stop playing this game, right? Let's totally stop playing this game that you're going to be a completely different person by March, right? March is my birthday, and so I always know when people say that. So when people say modeling, they need someone to mentor them. They need someone to be around them. Modeling is when you find someone and replicate that, right? And you could call it mentorship, but that's what mentorship is, more one-on-one. Modeling is where you see something and you copy it. Now, what is something people see and they copy? When they're kids, they copy their parents, right? I've had actual people tell me that when he met his wife was calm and peaceful, and he was like, wow, growing up, I had a mom and 3 sisters, and it was always arguing in the house. It was all this bickering, and I met her, and she was quiet and nice, and her whole family was a bunch of introverts and quiet and nice, and I decided to marry her. That has happened because people are either going to model what they see as a child, or they're going to do the opposite. So when it comes to money, you know, when your parents said, money doesn't grow on trees, people repeat that to their kids now. When people say, you know, we can't afford it, people say that now to their kids. Or people say, well, you got stuff at home, or you got food at home, right? Instead of saying, well, what else can we do, or what else can we eat? It gives them this model that they're following that you don't even know you're giving to your child, but overall you are modeling. They're modeling your behavior. So that's why when I'm on this channel, I just stress you guys going to conferences, going to seminars, going to events, and seeing other people's lives. Why? Because you model what you consistently see. You model what you consistently do. I hear people all the time complain about on Facebook, everybody's an entrepreneur, or they go to conferences and people are looking very, very, very different than them, right? And so all of a sudden, prime example, I would say, when I say people join local chamber of commerce, well, now you're around a bunch of business owners in your local community that you can interact with and have lunches with and talk with, but that will still take work. But what does that do? That helps you model where you're trying to go. So when I talk on this channel about putting on Acorn app and Digit app and putting a lot of these things on autopilot and starting to use them, because in a year, you'll have a whole different change of life, correct? Because you're modeling where you're trying to go. So if nothing else out of this video, I want you guys to pick some people or pick a thing, not that you want to covet them, not that you want to copy them, but you're just modeling where you're designing your life. Where are some places you want to take you and your wife, or you and your husband, or you and your kids? Where are some things you want to do that are different this year? And what will that require? Okay. So number 5, actions. Growing yourself bigger than your problem. This is the number one thing I have. People will say, Eric, I need to repair my credit so I can get a $20,000 credit card. And then I find out they're in exactly to the T $19,000 in debt. That they're trying to use a $20,000 credit card to pay off. And guess what? You just moved it around. You didn't outgrow your problem. You didn't fix your problem. You just moved it around. So what is the big key there? They have to take action. So many times I'm in these different credit repair groups and debt groups, and we'll have people say, should I file for bankruptcy for $8,000 in credit cards? And people will laugh, because $8,000, honey, you could go work a part-time job and put that $1,000 from that part-time job, or driving for Uber and these different apps for a couple weekends a month, and knock that debt out in a year. But that requires that person to grow bigger than their problem. And people don't like doing that. They want a quick fix. They don't want to do, because if a lot of people actually had to personally write the letters, personally repair their credit, personally get on the phone with TransUnion, actually pay for delete letters, actually get on the phone with different creditors and work out payment plans and payment structures and do all these things, they would never mess their credit up again. And they would keep it shiny. And like a lot of times I hear people say, man, I got all these credit cards, but I don't know what to do. Don't do anything is what I tell them. If you don't have a mission or a plan for that money, it'll find its way. As I say on this channel, and Grant Cardone says all the time, money doesn't sleep, but it does get bored. It gets bored. If you all of a sudden can't find a place for it to go, it will find a place to go. People know this. If you don't have a plan when you work a part-time job or know your budget, you'll eat out every day. You'll go to the movies. Well, I'm working 2 jobs, y'all. I can treat myself. Come on now. You can treat yourself 1 day a week, but not every day. Sometimes you have to really take a hold of what actions you're trying to take. So when I talk about actions, growing bigger than your problem, there's the 2 ways you can do it. One, you can make, as Cardi B said, make your money move, make those bands move. And that's stocks, that's bonds, that's mutual funds, that's REITs, that's tax liens, 18% from the course. You can go grab the course. All these things are making the money move. Now, business is the other way you can outgrow your problems. Now, business, and I'm going to put these in here, business is something that's working for you that you're not necessarily at right now. I'm going to be careful. I would say money in business, I would say rental properties, royalties, which you can go on websites and buy song royalties, all these different opportunities to buy into businesses. You know, buybizsell.com shows you how to buy companies from people direct, all these different things. There's a lot of opportunities for you to start a business that doesn't require your full attention full time. Now, a lot of times you see people starting podcasts and blogs, and they're working on it, 5-10 hours a week, maybe sell a product or something from it. That's a business that's working for them. That's always out there. That lead generator is always out there. So that requires you, though, to grow bigger than your problem. And on average, people have $500 to $1,000 they're short every month. The average American. Now, when they had the foreclosures and they did an assessment, and they sent the government to kind of figure out what happened at these banks and what happened that made Countrywide close down. You know, what was the problem? And on average, the average person, when they were calling, complaining, trying to make payment arrangements, they were short $500 in their budget. The average person calling and complaining to Dave Ramsey is short in their budget by $500. And you talk to them, well, we got a new car, or we did this, or we do that. And it's one little thing that throws them off that makes them short $500 a month. Number 6, and the last one, and then we'll get into the comments. Number 6, I already know that, Erica. I already know this. I've already seen that. I've already read this. I've already done this. That is a clear indication of someone who has a broke mindset, who has a scarcity mindset, who's scared, but that's what their answer. I already know that. I already know that, Erica. And I'm like, whoa, why are you so angry? If you knew it, your life would not be the way it is. Let's keep it 100. Again, if you already know this, you'd already have those rental properties. If you already know this, you'd already have those stocks and bonds. If you already know this, you wouldn't be living where you live and driving what you drive and dressing the way you dress. If you already know this. That is the clear indicator of a broke mindset and a wealthy mindset. When I go to conferences and I talk to people, you can already tell in the room who's like, yeah, I've already heard some of this before. I try not to finish the conversation with that person. I already go find someone else who's open and ready to talk, learn, or possibly partner. Partner in a project, partner in real estate. What are they looking for? What are they here at the conference for? And that's why I'm very careful about the conferences I pick. I'm trying to go to Grant Cardone's one in February, 10X, because the people that are spending the money to be there are ready. And what I mean by ready, they're open to doing new things. They're open to trying to grow. They're open to doing something. But when you hear someone say, well, I've already read those books and I've already done this, your actions don't tell me you've already done this. If your actions were in line with what you say you know, people would listen. I'll give you a prime example. You ever meet somebody that come out of prison? Knowledge. You're like, man, that dude has got so much knowledge. But guess what? He just came out of prison. And he doesn't have the timeline to apply, right? He's telling you something, but you have to look at his life and see whether the actions match it. Same thing as real estate. When I meet real estate agents who are like, I sold $1 million in homes, and the first thing out my mouth is like, how many rentals do you have? Oh, no, I don't have any rentals. Okay, if you love real estate and you're all about that real estate and you find it as a vehicle of retirement and making money, you would have rentals. Period. There's just only long-term successful agents I've met are agents who have rentals. I've met 60-year-old real estate agents, and I'm thinking, why is he still in the game? And she goes, oh, I've got like 10 rental properties. I just love selling houses. I love helping people get a home. I love being out here in the game, the game of real estate. So again, first thing out your mouth is, I already know that. I already seen that. You're not ready. You're not ready to be realistic with yourself or with your situation, because if you already knew it, your life would reflect it. Like when I tell people about Uber and Lyft, and I already heard about those. You can't make that much money. And the first thing out of my mouth is like, have you drove 40 hours a week? I show you video after video of guys driving 40 hours a week and they're making 1,300, 1,400. The first thing out of that person's mouth is like, well, what about maintenance to my car? What about maintenance? Baby, you're going to drive your car anyway. Average person is flipping cars every 3 to 4 years anyway. So for you to cry and tell me about your maintenance and your gas and your brakes, that shows me you're in that category of, Erica, I already know that and I just don't want to do it. And that's part of the problem. If you're going to be put out your house or put out of your situation, one paycheck away from being put out your situation, then you're not ready. Okay, you're not listening. 76% of Americans don't even have $1,000 in. If they had an emergency today and they had to have access to it, they don't have it. Now, the first thing I told a few people when they were driving for some of the Uber and Lyfts, they were talking to me about it. I was like, take every dollar and put it in a bank certificate where you can't touch it. And they looked at me like I was crazy. We're Skyping, and I'm like, hey, this is your consulting call, but I'm being honest. Put it where you can't touch it. So if something happens, you can call the bank, explain the situation, and they can break the certificate and give it to you. But by the time you have to go through all those steps of breaking that certificate and getting that money and talking on the phone, it would really have to be an emergency. So again, Number one is mindset. Number two, are you blaming, justifying, or complaining? Number three is playing to win, not to lose. Number four is modeling. Number five is actions. You can either grow your money or grow your business. Number six is I already know that, Erica. And you can go for reference. You can go check out Eckhart Hart's book, Millionaire Mind. A lot of the same stuff he talks about in his book. But a lot of them line up. Like I've applied them to my life and applied them to my business. And I meet guys every day who have painting companies just like I do, but they work when they want to. I kind of did some work last week. I kind of did some work this past month. Oh, the bills got tight, so I went out and put out bandit signs and painted. And then I sat back down and rested again. And if you guys ever been on a farm or you ever been into a rural place where they have a water pump, when you start trying to pump a water pump, it's so hard. You're like, oh, I'm trying to pump it. But then once you start pumping it, it's a go. It's pumping out water left and right. But what happens? We're just like people working the water pump. We pump it when we need some water. We try really hard, and then we let go. We gas it up when we need and stop. So everybody, let's jump in the comments and let's talk about our, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Won't keep you all night. Happy New Year, Irvin Thomas. Happy New Year, Johnson. Simply Sakina. Happy to catch live. Leslie, Chris McDonald. What more do you expect from journalists? That's the thing, Chris McDonald. I've been interviewed 4 times about the Hurricane Harvey and companies. And you know what? I realized they took the most negative part of the whole conversation and used it. So it's like, you know, they will spin an article towards what they're trying to say anyway. Right? So, okay, Architect Wishberg. Prices quickly skyrocketing, however, pushing many people into poverty. In California, 300,000 is actual middle class income. Thank you, Architect Whisper. I always try to adjust it for the area you're in. Like I'm in Austin, Texas, and I hear engineers complain about how high the money, you know, how high and expensive it's here. I worked in the apartment industry, and when every apartment went from like $700 to $800 to $1,000 in 2 years in Austin, Texas, you had a lot of people getting put out of apartments. A lot of people, and a lot of times you'll have 2, 3, 4 people living in a house like next door to us in this gentrified area. There's 2 couples. Let me say that again. There's 2 couples. So you're telling me a man and a woman living together can't afford a place in Austin? So now they got to move in with another man and woman who can't afford a place? It's some of it saving money and some of it is refusing to go into the next level of jobs in life. So yeah, 300,000 sounds about right in some of the major cities in California. And honestly, there's a video by Value Entertainment where he talks about if you really do the math, 250,000 is really 100,000 now. If you talk about how much a house is compared to 1980s to now, talk about how much a car used to be like $3,000. Now average car is $16,000. You talk about average house used to be $50,000. My aunt bought one of her houses in 1968 for $45,000. That house in the same area now is worth $90,000. It's doubled its price, right? A lot of food, you know, going to the grocery store, buying stuff, just all kind of stuff. You name it. He listed how basically $250,000 a year equals $100,000 a year. All right, Don Sonic broke, yeah. Architect Wisher, the beginning of Agenda 21. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, we could go into that, but I'll leave that alone. At the end of the day, whenever I hear stuff, people say, "Oh, it's overpopulated. Africa's overpopulated. All these places are overpopulated." Every person in the whole world, all 7 billion of us, could fit in Alaska in skyscrapers. Let me say that again. Everyone in the whole world, all 7 billion of us, could fit in Alaska, just the state of Alaska, not Canada, not anybody, Alaska in skyscrapers. So whenever you hear people saying, "Oh, it's overcrowded," no, it's not. There's a lot of places I've gone to where there's just empty apartments and ghost towns and empty houses and vacant houses all over the Midwest and different places. So, Michelle Reese. All right. Balloons and more gifts. I had a job here in Dallas, Texas for $11.25 in a call center. Ooh. Hated it. Had my blood pressure went up. We're not going to talk about the young folks, and I'm 56. Thank God I work back at the government. Look, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100 balloons and more gifts. Yeah. That's part of the reason people won't take those jobs for $10 to $12 an hour. It's the people they're working with. And a lot of times these people are homeless, and people say, "Erica, you're being heartless," but I've experienced homelessness before, where literally had a car accident, car went down, you know, the car person that I got in an accident with sued me, and before you know it, I didn't have the money in the bank between the lawyers and the fees and the hospital to pay my rent. Straight up 100. It does happen to people. Those are extreme, but it happens. But here's the key. When I would talk to people, oh, you don't want to work there. I don't pay nothing. You don't want to work around those people. And I've had to do that. I've had to do it where I took a manager's job making 55 a year and worked at a pizza delivery place in the afternoons. And people are like, that's crazy. I'm like, no, the price of living here is crazy. Okay. So the key is, it's a lot of times who you're around. Because if somebody was working a job for $12 an hour, and let's say they had their girlfriend, and I don't advise it, but if they live together and she's making $12 an hour, they could make it. But this is what happens. I've worked in apartment industry and seen two couples. They come in, they first live in there, it's good prices. They got two old cars. Well, they go get two new cars. She got a new Mazda, he got a new Honda. And next year they can't afford their rent. They're paying the rent late every month. Because they think about getting cars and driving around in a new car is somehow a great way to use their money. It's just not. It's just not. So anyway, Big J Rebel, hey, Chris McDonald's source. It depends on what you're talking about, McDonald. I've talked about a lot of things. Balloons and more. Back working 60 hours a week with the government and doing Uber to take care of business expenses to start my business back up. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're 56 years old, even if you, for the next 10 years, buy one rental property a year, by the time you're 66 and you're making 80,000 to 100,000 a year off of your rental income, you're had a whole different life than everybody you know at 66. Probably. You'll probably be at a whole different stage of life, a whole different parallel of life. You got the government paycheck. I mean, I told people, people know the story. My mom worked in the government for 26 years, Army, the U.S. Army. She made over 6 figures a year. She was there so long and had so many MOSs. She had 3. But in her retirement's just as much. But I was like, Mom, you need to go to work or do something you might like. Just part-time to keep your mind active. You're only 59 going on 60. So yeah, I mean, even if you get these great pensions, even if you get these great retirement plans, you need to be able to keep your mind active. Joy or Tia, anybody here doing real estate? You're here. K Moment. I'm trying to move to California. I'm from Florida and nothing is here. Any suggestions? Okay, K Moment, where are you at in Florida? K Moment, where are you at in Florida? Because I hear that every place. I'm a military kid and I live in North Carolina. Nothing's here, I'm leaving. I've lived in Texas. There's nothing here, I'm leaving. I lived in Alaska. There's nothing here, I'm leaving. It becomes this fantasy that somewhere else will be more amazing. That California will be the place. Or New York City will be the place. And 9 times out of 10 people get there and realize it's the same them going there. It depends on your definition of what is there. And what are you looking for? Could you move to Miami and have a whole different life? Could you move to Jacksonville or Destin or anywhere and have a whole different life? I remember a lot of people in high school, they would come from New York or Pennsylvania. And honestly, what happened is their parents couldn't afford to live up there anymore. And they would come down to North Carolina and they'd be complaining that it was so boring here. There's nothing to do here. While meanwhile, we're running around shooting guns, riding ATV, 4-wheelers and having a blast. The thing is mindset. Their mindset was all about the city and how great the city was, but they didn't have city money. So it just depends on your definition of what's there. All right. Big J Rebel, you don't need debt to have credit, but we're not going to go into that. I mean, the key is when people tell me they're building credit for what? If you make more money, it usually solves 9 times out of 10 what you're trying to accomplish. Right? If you make an extra $500 and let's say you want to put $500 into your Google AdWords marketing or marketing your business, that took care of it. If you make an extra $500 and you just want to pay off a debt, that takes care of it. If you're getting ready to buy a house, and let's say you just have 1 or 2 things you can easily build. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. Architect Whisperer. The last cheap places in California are the Lost Coast up north, California Valley, and the desert. Crazy. Yeah, definitely help each other out there. I see. Happy New Year, Jay Madison. Librarians. Oh man, my aunt used to be a librarian and got out of that field in the 90s. Woo, bless you. That's not even funny. All right. Chris McDonald. Here in Houston, people are already having too many people in apartments. I believe the apartment rates here on average are $1,050 for a 2-bedroom. Dude, I would love that, Chris McDonald. That would be a steal. Here in Austin, it's like 1,700. That's a going, and then like it's 1,200 for a 1-bedroom. Going rate. Now, what happens is the prices are so high, and it takes so long to fill the apartments. You'll get deals like they'll be like, okay, it's $800 for this week only. It's $900 for this week only if you get in and sign a contract now. And so it opens up ways for, ebb and flows of the market. But that's the funny thing. When I worked in the apartment industry, we'd have Indian families. It'd be a 2-bedroom apartment. And on the lease was a husband, a wife, and a kid. Well, the maintenance guy goes by because if you know anything about Indian people, they love to get everything in their apartment fixed for free. It's like they come to America and realize I can get anything fixed in my apartment for free. Oh my God, I gotta fix everything, right? So they'll be like, the blinds broke, this broke, a piece of paper broke off the edge of this thing, I want it fixed. My sink is not hot enough, just all day long requests. And so when we would come in, everybody would be like, hold on, wait for us to let you in. Or they would make you call before you could come over. Why? Because you go into the apartments and it'd be a family in one room, a husband, wife, and a kid in one room. And then you go to the second bedroom, a husband, a wife, and a kid in that bedroom. And then on the couch was a guy, and in the corner was his stuff where he slept. I mean, it really is like that in many of the apartments here in Austin. And you go, y'all make enough money to be separated, right? But here, this is what they'll do. They'll go, all right, they're so sick of the apartment industry. They'll go move into these new houses in Round Rock and Cedar Park. 3, 4, 5-bedroom houses. And they'll do the same thing there too. So, some of that's cultural and some of that is people are broke. Culturally, they're used to having a lot of people in a house or having a lot of people over for dinner or having big, get-togethers. Other Americans, they want their space. So some of that's cultural, some of that is being broke. Balloons, good. Listen, if you get focused, you can make all kinds of things happen in 90 days. There's a book called 12 Weeks Year. It's called 12-Week Year. It literally says on front color in red letters, 12-week year. And it is talking about taking one big hairy goal every 90 days. Now, why is that? Because if you spread out 4 or 5 goals, like I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, it dilutes it. And again, by March or April of the year, you already quit. But if you go for the next 90 days, I'm going to work out every single day at the gym, you'd be amazed at what you can accomplish, right? And then the next 90 days, I'm going to spend every day marketing my business, like whether it's bandit signs, calling people, it's talking to people, just taking them on at one big hairy goal at a time. J.M. Michael, I don't know, Michael, sounds about the same in Denver. Oh yeah, Denver is blowing up. Nashville, Tennessee is blowing up. If you pretty much go pick up the article, the boom towns, I did a video on it. Let me see if I can pull it up, maybe. There are Forbes list 16 boom towns. And I mean, every town on that list, here's the funny part, have already been booming for like 5 to 10 years. And Denver, of course, is on there, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, Dallas. And it's like, okay, Forbes, you're already behind in the conversation, what you're saying. You're already behind. These towns have already been booming. So by the time you've gotten there, it's like you're behind. So, and Austin was #1 for 1 year. I can't remember who it is now, but it's a couple different ones. Like basically, let me see. Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, Florida, Miami, Tampa. I'm going to pull up the thing and I'll just share my screen. That way, keep it simple. I'll keep it simple for you guys that way. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. You know that man, you said the rent's too damn high? Yeah, there it is. Like that guy became semi-famous. Like he became semi-famous in New York. He ended up, living the life. Let me see where we at. I don't want to keep out here forever, but yeah. Boomtowns, here you go, Forbes. Let me know if you can see the screen. You should be able to see the screen. If not, we'll have to figure it out what went wrong. But yeah, it's talking about the boomtowns. It's talking about they're basing it off construction and people moving there, all that good stuff. But yeah, by the time you've made this list, those places have been booming. They've been booming. Okay, let me see here what we got. Miami. Came on, you in Miami? What? And there's nothing there. Are you saying there's nothing there for librarians, or there's nothing there that you would like? Two different things. Rafael Mendoza, first time on your stream, nothing but value. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Ah, okay. I see what you're saying, Kay. I see what you're saying. Chris McDonald, keep Austin weird. Chris McDonald, 250 moving special. Oh, that's their favorite, man. 250 moving. Come on in and move in today. Chris McDonald, Hispanics here behind. Let me tell you something, and this is how you know you're in a C or B class party, when you start seeing all those cars. But here's the thing, what I've noticed, when people are in levels of poverty, they can sell that car, they can fix that car, they can junk that car. That's what a lot of that comes down to. Nope, you don't. You don't need a lot of lines of credit. Nope, you just need to have 620 and keep it rolling. Now you can have 580, but your interest rates won't be great. Big J Rebel. Oh my God, you got your second master's. God bless you. Yeah, you got to get in there. You got to get in the network. You got to go to conferences and everything. All right. Don't speak Spanish. Woo. Okay. That might be how you have to get in there. You have to just go ahead and get that Spanish. Take those classes. But anyway, you guys, so basically this is showing boom towns. And like in this list, it moved it around. But number 16 is Austin. San Antonio. Dallas is number 2. Houston, number 3. Florida. Miami's number 7. Orlando, 14. Tampa, number 18. Los Angeles. San Francisco. I mean, Denver's further down, but you just got to keep going on the screen to see it. But anyway, long story short, it's just talking about how you have these constructions, you have the booms and income and jobs. And the key here is, young people moving. So, oh yeah, Chris McDonald, that's very true. Like a lot of people left Florida. The group of people I was hanging out with maybe 2 weeks before New Year's, 2 weeks, they were all from Florida. They all came out of Kissimmee, Orlando, Florida. And I was like, so like 10 of y'all moved here? Like basically 2 moved and 2 more moved. And, basically everybody they knew was moving, just to check out Texas and see what it was about. So it happens like that. So look, I don't want to keep y'all too long, but that's what's the business today, is kind of taking charge of your life by taking responsibility. And people don't like me saying that, but it's just the truth. Like, I'm not doing it to hurt people. I'm not doing it to be hateful. It's just an honest thing of like, when you say, I got myself into this, I will get myself out of this. It's not my ex-wife's fault. It's not my kid's fault. It's not everybody. It's not my mom's fault. Like if you say from today on to the next, I'm rolling, it's a different, you know what I'm saying? It's a different mindset for yourself. Don't be blaming anybody. Don't be justifying where you at. I mean, I remember this girl saying, I remember working at Papa John's, and this guy was the only person working in his house. His parents were basically middle-aged white people on pills. And they were about to be evicted. He was like, y'all, it's been a slow month delivering pizzas. I didn't make $3 grand. As he usually does. So all of a sudden his parents got up off the couch. His father went and became a cable installer. His mom went and got a job somewhere making $10 an hour. And guess what the first thing they did when they got their paychecks? They bought brand new cars. Dad bought a brand new truck. Mom bought a brand new Corolla. And I just laughed because he was like, we're right back where we were before, when I was the only one working in the house. So some of that is people around you. Some of that is bad modeling. But at the end of the day, if you take responsibility and say, if he'd have never said, hey, y'all, I just am not going to cough up any more money this month, they would have still been sitting on that couch waiting on him to take care of them, right? So it's extreme ownership, man. You got to play to win. You got to model people who are doing what you want in life, and go to some of these conferences. Get new people in your area, in your environment. So many of y'all have 1 or 2 friends, and they're negative, and you talk about business or making more money, and they're like, ooh, girl, why you doing that? Honey, you gotta, I'm not saying drop them. They could be your best friend in the world. But what I'm saying is you have to spend less time with them. Less. Okay? So, hey, Donald Isley, glad to be here. Thank you. Kissimmee, yep, Kissimmee, Orlando. But they came out in a group. So, look, get around people who are winners. You can be a winner too. Thank you guys for coming out. Listen, new camera coming, new house. It's a lot of different new changes coming. So I'll try to keep you guys abreast of it. I'll try to keep more live streams going. But essentially, got some moving going on here. One of the roommates got married New Year's Eve. Other roommate bought her house. And so now we're leaving this giant, big, beautiful house that's been remodeled and looks great to an even better house. It's going to be nice. So anyway, I see your last comments. For life, what conferences are retirements? How do I look up conferences? Chris McDonald, thanks again. What are you, depending on what you want to do. Let's say you want to look at sales, you want to look up real estate investing, whatever it is you want, type in the Google, for instance, Kissimmee, Florida, right? Or Orlando, Florida, or Florida, and start there. But other than that, you can go always see the biggest ones and then always see the cheaper ones. And good luck, you guys. We'll probably do a video maybe on how to find conferences this year. We'll do it another time. So everybody, thanks for coming out. You guys are great. Always the links are below if you need to talk to me. Credit repair, tax lien course. You're looking for any of those things. They're always going to be in the links below. Have a great day, y'all.